Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Stephanie Gillison, the co-founder of Airdomo, and I'm excited about this week because Wednesday's my favorite day because we get to come back here and we get to talk to you about what is going on internationally and what is everybody wondering when it comes to purchasing international property. And Hannah, buyers are always asking three questions all the time. And that's what we're going to uncover today. We're going to dive in to what are these three foundational questions every international property purchase must be able to answer. Hannah, I know you're under the weather a little bit today, but you have come to show up because you love Wednesdays as much as I do, don't you?
Exactly. I know I may be sounding a little bit different, looking like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I have my water here, I have my tissues here, I'm ready. But yeah, I'm excited for this topic. Honestly, I like all of our frameworks that simplify it for the buyers. And buying abroad can feel very overwhelming, and it's too many markets and listings and opinions of everyone around you. So these three questions cut through all of that and give buyers a clear way to evaluate all the international purchases. So no matter what the country is or the budget. So let's start with the first question. And this question is so critical, and you can tell us why, which is, why am I buying this property?
Well, I think the reason why that's critical is because unclear intent creates bad decisions, right? If we don't know why we're buying this property, well, then that's probably going to create a bad decision, aren't we right? Because buyers often say things like, oh, it's a great investment, or I might live there one day, or I can always rent it out, right? But look, there's different strategies, and all of those are extremely different as well. And so the first question that every buyer must answer clearly is, am I buying it for lifestyle? Am I buying it for income? Am I buying it for appreciation, residency, or optionality, right? Do you want to have all those types of options? A property can sometimes do one of these, but the goal should lead to one of those being the decisions. When buyers don't define the why, they end up compromising on everything. They settle for that property. And that's when everybody's unhappy. And then you've just bought it out of just buying something. It's almost like you've bought because you're exhausted and you just want to get through the hunt.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of people feel unsure even after they buy, which is a very tricky situation to be in. But for question number two, and this is one that I hear a lot, especially in Dubai. I know it's crazy being sick in the middle of a desert, but
Seasons
this is really
everywhere.
a question.
We've proven it.
I have proven it, yes. The second question is, who will want this after me? And it's one that buyers almost never ask up front, but it's so, so important. Why does it matter so much?
And it matters so, so much because exit strategy has to be part of your entry strategy, right? Look, you may think you're going to keep something forever, but look, forever is just not true because life changes no matter what we have planned, right? So you need to be that smart buyer, and being that smart buyer at the beginning is going to clarify to you who is that future buyer when you go to sell, right? Is demand local? Is it expat? Is it international, right? Where's the demand for buyers coming from? Is this market liquid or is it niche? Is it a fad right now? There's a lot of places that become super, super high. You've got influencers that are partying and people are seeing this stuff on TikTok and they're like, I want to go. I want to own there. I want to shake my butt on the beach, right? But then 2 years later, guess what? You've had all these developers go and build 300 condos and they're all sitting there empty, right? That's a niche market. So that's what you've got to look at. You've got to look at what is the opportunity for resale easily if something happens to where life changes and you must resell it. It might
Exactly.
be perfect for you that day, but if it's only going to appeal to a tiny group of people And, resale is going to be extremely difficult. And you might have to give it away, so to speak. And nobody wants to give anything away.
Exactly. And wealthy buyers do usually ask that, okay, if my plans change, how easy it is to sell this without a loss. And if that answer is unclear, then the risk is much, much higher than it looks. And most buyers don't think about exit until it's too late.
That's right.
So that's good to know. Okay, question number 3. What could go wrong, and am I okay with that? The third question feels uncomfortable, but it's very essential because what could go wrong? Tell us about that.
Well, this is where confident buyers separate themselves from all the emotional buyers that exist out there, right? Because every single purchase has risk. The goal is not to eliminate risk. You're never going to get rid of all risks. You're never. It's impossible. There's no perfect buy out there. But you got to understand the risk. You got to understand what could you be faced with, right? So ask yourself, if it's for rental, is the rental demand going to drop? What if regulations change? What if you can't travel there for a while, right? We had a pandemic not too long ago and travel restrictions went in place. What would you do with the property in the event you couldn't get there? Okay. What if prices go stagnant instead of rising? So there's a lot of things that you've got to think about and you've got to be able to answer. And you have to understand that nothing is going to be perfect and you can't eliminate every single one of them. Because if you're looking to make it completely 100% not risky at all, that's just not even going to exist. Right? So you just need to understand, with those questions in mind, can you still hold on to that property comfortably? If the downside is manageable and the upside is meaningful, then it's a sound decision and you're going to be okay with it, right?
Yes, and they always say that fear, the root of fear is in ignorance. So answering all these questions and turning that fear into clarity will help everyone. Now, tell me, why do these 3 questions together work so well?
Well, because they cover the full life cycle of ownership. The first question defines your intent. The second is going to protect flexibility and your exit. And your third question is managing the risk and the resilience. When you answer all 3 clearly, buyers feel calm, you don't feel rushed, and you certainly don't feel pressured. And that calm is a sign of decision being grounded. So grounded is what we all want to feel. We want to feel comfortable, right?
Yes, the grounded decisions are almost always the better ones. So definitely. Okay, so we went through the questions, we went through why they're important. How can buyers apply this framework today?
All right, well, let's see. You can take any property you're currently considering and write these 3 questions at the top of the page. But you have to answer them honestly. Don't lie to yourself, right? Don't be optimistic about it. If one answer feels fuzzy, that's a signal to pause and to not push forward. All right? This framework, it's not about saying no, okay? It's about saying yes with confidence, okay? And confidence is what you want to get to. You want to feel confident about that purchase.
Exactly. The confidence does change the entire buying experience as well, because I know you have a lot of stories about this as well. When buyers come to you knowing exactly what they want, I think the process is better for both sides, right?
It is. And here's the thing. There's I've said this before on webinars. There are buyers that are so confident that they'll go and put a deposit down on a property. Then they start asking themselves these questions. And then they realize they're not confident at all. And then we get a message through LinkedIn or through email or through social media channels or through our website at airdomo.com. And they're asking us these questions because they know that they made a snap decision, right? And so that's what we want to prevent you from doing, is putting that deposit down before you've done this framework.
please do not put a deposit down on a property that you're unsure of, because we cannot get it back most of the time.
That's right. That is right.
Cool.
That is right.
Awesome. And yes, a reminder to everyone to definitely go check out Domo Match on airdomo.com, because that will help you discover and answer some of the questions that we went through in a more playful and gamified way that is much, much easier for all of us to do. Stephanie, thank you. This framework is so powerful because it does apply everywhere to any country and any property. And for everyone who's watching, if you are considering that international purchase and you want help answering these 3 questions or any other ones that you have, please reach out to us and we're here to support you. And please do explore all the vetted global opportunities on airdomo.com. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.